Sunshine. So today we're going to be talking about how you can start working from home, and in addition we'll also be talking about how you can start avoiding work from home scams. Those two questions were the most commonly asked questions that I saw in my work from home series, so I figured that today we could take some time and we can touch base on both of those subjects. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, leave them down in the comment section down below, and if you aren't sure or you enjoy reading better, click on the first link that you see in my description box and it will take you to a blog post where I have all of the links to work from home job sites that you can find and some other tips and bonuses, plus all of the other work from home articles that I've written on my blog. So with all of that said, let's start talking about why you aren't getting hired for work from home jobs and how you can actually start successfully getting work from home jobs. The most common mistake that I see are people using the resumes that they built and wrote for brick and mortar positions and sending them in and trying to get work from home or remote positions using that same exact resume. That is a really big mistake. So if you are doing that, stop. Basically, brick and mortar positions, you're working in an office or on the street, whatever you do. You could be white collar, you could be blue collar, it doesn't matter. But either way, you're on some form of a team. You're contributing to a community as a whole, working a brick and mortar position. So working as a community as a whole, you have different layers, and depending on which layer that you are, even if you're on the very top rung, you always have somebody looking over your shoulder. You always have somebody watching you and correcting you and seeing how you do things. So basically, in that sense, you don't really have to be very self-motivated. You don't have to really have a personal drive. You can have other people watch and observe what you do and push you in the right direction. Whereas work from home positions, it's really just you. It's really just you working by yourself. And while you may be contributing to a team, you have to be able to do it without somebody looking over your shoulder. You have to be self-motivated. So one of the most common mistakes in people using the same exact resume for two different types of brick and mortar and work from home type of jobs is that they aren't using the right type of keywords. When you are looking to work from home, you want to use keywords such as self-motivated, self-starter, technology savvy. You have reading, writing, editing, computer programming, WordPress, any type of those technology or personal identifier adjectives to put on your resume. Now, that whole statement is not to say that you can't use the resume and the basic outline of the resume that you use for your brick and mortar job to get you a work from home job. However, I would highly recommend going in and changing some of the keywords that you put on your brick and mortar resume. For example, on the part of your brick and mortar resume where you highlighted the skills and the assets that you can bring to a company, I would maybe recommend checking out and seeing what adjectives would be better placed for your remote resume. You can still have two resumes if you're still trying to get into a brick and mortar position, but if you're strictly and solely interested in getting something that allows you to work remotely, allows you to work whenever and wherever you want, I would recommend going on, doing some research, or clicking on that blog post, because I do have a list of some adjectives that you can use to switch out on your resume to kind of make your resume a lot more interesting to somebody who is looking to hire somebody who is able to work remotely. The next tip that I have to help you get your very own work from home job is to open up the places that you are searching. It is absolutely a mistake to only be using one or two websites to help you find your own work from home job. I personally started off using two websites called ProBlogger and Blogging Pro to get me work from home jobs. And while that was a great idea to help me bring in some lucrative side gigs and stuff like that, it wasn't where I found my main bread and butter. I recommend using every possible website that you can to find your own remote position. Some of the websites that I remember using for finding my own personal full-time work from home jobs and side gigs are Craigslist, and in that also search Tempest, Indeed, ProBlogger, Blogging Pro, AngelList, and I can't remember any else off the top of my head, but also in that blog link down below, I have a full list of all of the ones that I have personally used and been able to land jobs off of. So if you want a full inclusive list of everything that I recommend using, I would go to click on that blog link down below and you'll find that list. But basically, it's a mistake to just limit yourself to one resource. There are so many different work from home possibilities out there. So if you are using a site right now and you're finding that it's not very successful and you're having a really hard time finding a job, please know that there are other resources out there for you to use, and that it is totally 100% possible for you to be able to work from home and support yourself working from home. So don't give up, don't get frustrated. Maybe just try changing your resources and you might find some success there. The next tip that I have is to use social media. Do not forget about the power of social media, especially when it comes to finding your own remote gig. So basically, there are people on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on, oh my gosh, all of the different social medias that will use the hashtag work from home, or some hashtag of that assortment, and you can go through and you can search those hashtags, and you will then in there can have the ability to find some companies that are looking to hire for a remote gig. In that, I also recommend signing up for a LinkedIn account, and I also highly recommend signing up for a Pinterest account to find work from home positions. Out of all of the social medias that I use, I have found Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest to be the three best and most lucrative social media apps to help me find a work from home job. They have been the apps that have helped me bring in the big bucks. They've been the apps that have helped me find companies that are looking to hire for serious, full-time, high-paying jobs. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest are all free to sign up to use. LinkedIn is a professional portfolio website. So basically, it's like Facebook before the professional world. Facebook, I would recommend going through and looking for some work from home groups to join a part of, because there are big companies out there, there are medium, there's companies of all assortments that look up these work from home groups, and they are put out there on Facebook the type of job that they're looking to post or looking to hire for. LinkedIn is the same way, except it's like Indeed, but it's like LinkedIn is kind of like a mix of Indeed and Facebook, so you can interact and network with other people, which is so important in the world of work from home. But you can also find jobs, and this can be, if you are not interested in working from home, you can also find like brick and mortar jobs and work from home jobs on LinkedIn, which is why I highly recommend looking, because even if you're just looking for a side gig, LinkedIn literally will have it. So many people use LinkedIn. It's almost as big as Indeed. I love LinkedIn. It's so great. But I also love Pinterest, because there are work from home bloggers such as myself who will go and they'll pin their daily jobs or their daily, blog posts about jobs that they have found, and they'll pin that up on Pinterest. So all you have to do is follow these people or follow their boards, and then in your daily Pinterest feed, you will find links to these blog posts or links to the daily leads that they're finding. In that, I do want to say, do not do yourself a disservice and solely depend on one person to find you a job. I have people who join my email list, and I've had people message me and ask me to send out more leads and send out more often the daily work from home jobs leads that I have found. But I think that just depending on one person alone to send you daily updates in your inbox is really a personal disservice to you. In my case example, not only do I have all of the people on my email list competing for the jobs that I'm sending out in my daily and weekly updates, but also in that you aren't really refining the type of jobs that you're looking for. I'm only sending you the stuff that I have found. If you're not looking for yourself, you're not really finding the jobs or looking for the jobs that would truly highlight your skills and capabilities. So don't depend on one person to go and find you some job leads. Go out, do some work yourself. It's a full-time job trying to find a full-time work from home jobs. It can get overwhelming, it can get frustrating, but if you don't give up, I guarantee you that it pays off. And in addition, don't forget to sign up for the social medias that I mentioned if you don't already have their accounts with those social medias. But if you do, look out, find some work from home tags, find some work from home group boards or bloggers or pinners or Facebook groups. Get out there, network, find it. It's out there, and there's plenty of opportunities out there for you to find. Also, just wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk to you guys about how you can start avoiding work from home scams. Work from home scams can be absolutely devastating. Oh my gosh, there have been so many people I've heard on the news about being affected by work from home scams. And I just wanted to talk about this a little bit in depth because I don't want anybody out there, I don't want it happening to anybody else. It's happened to me, especially when I first started out. I had a company told me that they were gonna pay me to have a whole at-home setup, and basically, thankfully, I didn't deposit the check that they sent me because it was a fraudulent check, but it was absolutely insane. And because of that, because of the situation that I experienced, I have looked a lot into seeing how you can avoid work from home scams. So basically, the core components, the biggest things that you can follow to avoid a work from home scam, basically go: do not give out your personal identity, your personal identification number, any personal information about yourself to anybody. Sure, you can give out your name, your email address, and if you want to risk it, your home address, but don't give out your bank account information. Don't give out your social security number unless you're 100% sure that this is legit. Like if you're working for Apple or something, you're good. Amazon, I have seen a lot of people they've been sucked into the scams because just Amazon's such a big company. They just seem to have all of the predators out there trying to be fraudulent, pretend that they're Amazon. So basically, how can you know that a company is legit? Here are my tips. Basically, if you're like, okay, oh my gosh, yes, guess what, guys? Apple wants to hire me. But I'm using Apple as a placeholder. Just think of it like another company name. Like this could be any company. Let's say you apply for a position and it's on ProBlogger or Blogging Pro or Craigslist or wherever you go and apply for it. And they're like, okay, guess what? Yes, we want to hire you. But in order for us to hire you, we need your banking information, your social security number. No, that's not real. Scoot on to the next. But if you have been hired and they're like, okay, well, in order for us to send you out a payment, we need your bank account information. Before you hand out any personal information, go on the internet and use the internet to your own advantage. What you can do is you can email the company that you're working for. You can ask them to send a reference list of other contractors that they have working for you or they have working for them. If they refuse to give that out, chances are there's a big chance that you're working for a predator, somebody who's not actually the company that they say they are. It is not illegal for them to do this. It is not illegal to give out the name and the email, and just that's all that you're asking for, so that you can contact these people and see if they're actually working for the company and if they have been scammed by the company. If they refuse to do that, I would recommend walking away. But another thing that you can do if you aren't comfortable asking for a reference list is you can go on the internet and you can type in XYZ company name, contractor reviews or employee reviews. Indeed, Glassdoor, those are two big sites that have a lot of company and employee reviews, and they talk about pay and stuff like that, pros and cons of working for said company. If you cannot find any reviews on the experiences that employees had at a company, even though it's a work from home or a remote company, it's a scam. Please walk away as quickly as you possibly can. If a company is saying, oh yeah, if you work these part-time hours for us, we're willing to pay you so much money. It's like you're gonna get rich so quickly. They're working from home, while it is extremely convenient and while it can be extremely lucrative, if you know how to market yourself and if you get into a very specific niche, it is not going to get rich quick overnight. You're not going to make $100,000 within your first 2 months working there. That is absolutely insane. Do not fall for that. Do not fall for any get rich quick scams. Do not do that. Do not do that. Also, do not ever send a company money. No legitimate employer will ask you to send them a check for X amount of dollars for a starter kit or to go to contribute for your work from home office. There are companies out there like Apple and a couple other off the top of my head who will pay for you to have your own laptop, your own phone and whatever. But there are no legitimate company out there will ask you for a check or will ask you for a payment for you to pay to work for the company. It doesn't happen in the brick and mortar world. It doesn't happen in the work from home world. It's a scam. And the last tip that I have for you guys is to consider freelancing. I think freelancing is absolutely so amazing and I would highly recommend it if you are talented at something. Design, graphic design, writing, editing, voiceovers. Literally, there's so many opportunities out there when it comes to freelancing. But if you're talented or you're confident or you're knowledgeable about a very specific niche, I would highly recommend consider getting into freelancing. Even if you don't think you're all that special, or even if you don't think you have a very specific skill that you can offer, try it anyway. Try getting yourself some freelance clients and try getting yourself a work from home job. There are no limits. it's unlimited. You literally have unlimited potential working from home. I will admit, like, if you aren't a hard worker and you are not dedicated to this dream, you are not going to be successful. Like, don't let me blow any smoke up your butt. If you are not dedicated to your own self-growth, if you are not dedicated to seriously taking this seriously and trying to find yourself a work from home position and trying to gain financial independence from yourself, you are not going to be successful. However, if you do take this seriously and you're like, yes, I'm out there, and you understand that there are going to be months where it's really dry and there isn't a lot of work, but you have other months where you're going to be overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, what do I do with all this work? It's up and down. You're working for yourself. As a freelancer, at least you're working for yourself. But if you understand that, you understand that there are going to be times where it's going to be struggle, and there's other times where you're going to struggle to keep up with everything. This is a great thing. Freelancing is absolutely amazing. Why is it so amazing? Why am I talking about freelancing so much? Because with freelancing, you get to pick where and when you want to work. You get to pick how much you make, and you get to pick who you work for. As a freelance writer, I'm a freelance content writer. I get to pick for the companies that I do and don't want to work for. I've had companies that don't charge enough and I'm just like, no. Or I have clients that are expecting way too much work from me, even though the pay is really nice. And I'm just like, I don't really feel like fitting that into my schedule. Also, as a freelancer, I get to pick my own rates. So for somebody who's looking for something that's SEO specific or something in a niche that I'm very knowledgeable about, I charge higher amounts. Or for somebody who's looking for very specific research, I charge higher amounts to compare to somebody who's just looking for some very general content writing. I also can work whenever I want. I mean, while I do have deadlines that I have to meet, like for example, a client that I'm currently working for has a quota of X amount of articles every month. I get to pick if I want to work at those at like 5 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock at night. I get to pick, oh, well, do I want to spend a half hour on this article today, or do I want to spend all day on all of the articles today? I get to do that as long as I meet that deadline. I get to pick when and where and how much I'm asking to be paid. It's really so amazing, which is why I would highly recommend freelance writing if you're serious about the work from home dream. So that is everything that I have for you guys today. Please let me know if you have any comments or questions or concerns in the comment section down below. I'm always looking for you guys to submit work from home ideas for me to talk about in my next videos. So if you really do have anything at all, leave it in the comment section down below. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video.